What you want? What you want?
Hallo, frohes neues Jahr and herzlich willkommen zum Auf Die Fresse, the WXW review podcast in English. I'm Ian, he's Mike, and how's your holidays, Mike?
It's I'm glad it's all over.
Yeah.
happy holidays. No, I always like it once we get into January because it means we're steaming full speed ahead towards Carrot. And so once you get through Christmas and all that nonsense, it's great. You're right on the highway to Oberhausen, and it's coming full steam ahead. Less than 10 weeks now, which is amazing.
Nothing to count. Trees down, trees back in the loft, but we'd been planning to look at that 21st anniversary show on this episode, but a bit of a spanner in the works. WXW now went offline. Apparently, for the anniversary show, they announced they're going to debut WXW Now 2.0, which I guess looking like a Splatoon multicolour scheme if wrestling's anything to go by. So right now, I think they don't have any paid video streaming. I think they said the old service, you can't sign up. I know my subscription got cancelled.
Yeah, we can't sign in anymore, which is wonderful.
I ain't paying for Build Plus. So instead, we're going to go through news from the Christmas weeks and a look at what happened last year. I mean, if you read the title of the podcast, that kind of gave it away. But yeah, so no date on when WXW Now 2.0 is coming up, but I think it was at the Smash show in London, Ontario. It's London or Toronto, whichever one hasn't gone up. That one's to go up. You've got the obviously anniversary show. There's Dead End this weekend in Hamburg. Borken,
sorry.
So there's 4 already, and when we get to the upcoming shows, they have got a lot coming up. So yeah. I have a feeling I'm going to be hearing a lot more of Dave Bradshaw than I probably get used to. But we'll see when that comes up. But of course, over Christmas, WXW make a point of announcing names and stuff for Carrot Weekend, and we got quite a few there.
Yes.
So go through some spoilers for the anniversary show. Unfortunately, that's going to be intertwined. But at this point, it's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we can sort of go through what has happened. So at the moment, really, it's if you don't know what's happened already, well, to be honest, we don't know. We don't really know if it's going to be imminently. It might be coming out tomorrow. It might be coming out in a month or so. So we don't know. So so they did the traditional announcement of who was going to anniversary. Sorry, not going to anniversary, going to Carrot over Christmas, didn't they?
Yep, so at anniversary,
Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Yes, at anniversary, at Metahan Bobby Guns. They're doing a rematch in Hamburg for that Carrot spot. Guess that's as non-spoilery as we can go with that.
Yeah.
Names got announced without any asterisks. So Maggot, Francesco Akira, who was meant to have been in Carrot last year, but with injury, sidelined. So he's in Carrot this year, and I believe unless there's any, well, as of now at least, he's one half of IWGP Junior Tag Champions in New Japan. So that could be a very Jonathan Gresham-ish. Can you show their belt on?
Isn't it?
Yeah. Another name from Japan, Shikihiro Irie. He's part of Carrot again, doing the all or nothing.
He's as German as David Hasselhoff.
Oh God, please don't make him sing David Hasselhoff in a circle. And also Peter Tahani, he's been added to the Carrot lineup. So I think we're up to like 8 or 9 names now. Obviously,
we're halfway there now, I think.
They're doing the Road to Carrot in Bielefeld next month, so there'll be 2 names there. So a few to be added. Fuminori Abe, he's also going to be part of the weekend, but only for Ambition, they've announced. So it's a bit of a curious one. I would expect you to have done both, but that kind of thing usually indicates Like they're not flying him all the way for Japan for an afternoon show.
Well, yeah. The thing is, you don't need to be in Carrot to be on the Carrot weekends, and Irie almost in a way is sorry, not Irie, sorry, Arbe is in a way, he's the person you want to chuck in the alternate four-way, isn't he? You want to give him a big marquee match at Inner Circle. You want him to be on the We Love Wrestling show on the Sunday morning. So
I bloody
yeah,
hope so.
yeah, exactly. So Arbe, give me as much of him as possible. Not in the tournament, but it lets him do the interesting stuff. It lets him do a few. I've kind of, if you've ever had a conversation about me at one of these shows, you'll know that actually for me, the tournament is the least interesting thing that happens over 16 Carat weekend for me. So it's all the other stuff which makes me sort of excited. So yeah, Arbe being in that is it's really exciting for me.
We've got a couple more names which, well, one has been announced, one is jigsaw identification pretty much. Yeah, so your favourite Dave Everett, she's announced she's actually going to be doing a big old tour of Europe, starting back to the roots, so January 28th, so 3 weeks time, ending up in Leipzig on April 23rd, so that's definitely including the Carrot week. And yeah, it's the third run. She obviously did Carrot last year. She was over for Tag Festival back end last year. This is the third one. Already had a reign of women's title. I think I wouldn't be too surprised she gets another shot or run of the belt, just way of being building things up. But you've got her and
bands for it.
And another name, Becca. She's expected to be part of the weekend, so she's announced she's in Europe for a few dates in March. There's a massive old TBA on the 10th to the 12th of March, Carrot weekend. She's done she's done two tours of Europe, one in February last year, which was really short because of an injury. Then did 3 matches in WXW last July. Can't for life me remember where I think one was against Baby Allison after she lost her title. So 2 Americans over for Carrot weekend, you'd expect. So
yeah, unless she's doing Rev Pro in Stevenage, and that's not being announced, then then yeah, I think
it would be weird. Yeah,
we can assume. We can. There was There's that. There's also. Are we okay to say about the person who has been announced for the show in February?
go for it.
Yeah. So I do apologise for that. Do you want me
Wanted
to wait
man, Mike Kilby.
Do you
No,
want me
keep
to wait
it
a
in.
second? Oh, there we go. Yes, I still have a landline. Someone who was announced, someone who was announced for I think it was the Bielefeld show, was Sebastian Suave. Obviously, he's going to be over with the Smash contingency, we assume, for the WXW Now and Friends show. So he's been announced for that. But yeah, then there's also a few people who have kind of been well and truly ruled out of the show as well. Obviously, Killer Kelly has been booked elsewhere that weekend, so we can assume that she's not going. So it appears that she's been booked for a serial killer convention. Was that what it was?
Pretty sure something like that was like a horror movie thing. I mean,
a horror movie sort of convention. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like that she'll be there that weekend, which is a shame. And unfortunately, there was another one which was announced, or that does have some implications for anniversary, but somebody is out of action until at least the summer.
Yeah, so we've announced 2 names going. Oh, she's out of action until summer. On the anniversary show, she was attacked by Amboss. WXW's tweeted last week or two, taking time out to recover, and then she'll be studying through. I think said end of the beginning of summer. So, if you want an early shout for shortcut to the top, no, there's a bit of an outside bet. I mean, she came pretty close last year, so yeah, not as tough as you might think as far as the prediction. And it certainly explains why they did want, again, we love spoiler stuff for anniversary, but hey, it ain't demand yet. But it also explains why we went one way in a match, which I thought would maybe held up for until Carrot. So
exactly, yeah.
So a couple of faces coming in, one not going to be around. 2 more news bits. So we've talked about this a few times when we run up to Christmas. The WXW Wrestling Academy did a, I guess, pre-Christmas show, December 23rd. They raised over €1,200 for the animal shelter in Gelsenkirchen to show the kids from the Wrestling Academy classes put together. They did the match graphics, that kind of stuff. And all the entrance fees, ticket money was donated to the charity, plus people like myself who donated to watch basically GoPro on the entrance stand. They live streamed it. Pretty good show for what it was. Couple of results you had. Ultima Sombra beat Baby Allison, was a bit unexpected, but I think there was extenuating circumstances there. Mike Schwartz beat Tempesta in, I'm going to absolutely butcher this, so I'll give you German and the English.
Weihnachtswanderei.
Yeah,
Weihnachtswanderei.
they had the Disco Vamsarai in the in Shotgun, so this the Christmas Brawl. And then Anil Marek did double duty. He beat Jacob Crane to stop him from saving the donation money, which I could go one way with that. So I'm just going to say, yeah, if he was really going to steal, he deserves all the body slams he got that night.
Well, at least the good person won, I suppose.
Then there's another one. Anil Marek, of course, made his return at the anniversary show on the pre-show. Didn't win, which surprised me, but back after being out since Coward of a shoulder injury. That's something we missed by not covering the show.
Yeah, it's hopefully that match at least will come up soon. The Anil Marek return.
It's on YouTube. They did put the pre-show up,
okay.
along with Rambo and Last Stray from Dragon Gate, which wasn't what was advertised, but yeah, I think it's only in German, but it is on the WXW YouTube if you look for it. And speaking of the video streaming, since we may as well bookend all this, WXW advertised today for crew members for WXW Now. They're looking for freelancers to work for video team with experience in VT playback, live graphics, audio mixing, and all that, as well as setup and teardown and all that stuff. The job specs on the WXW website. If you want to apply, you've got to the end of the month. It's Mark Shuttle, he's heading up the team now, and I know he tweeted in his own account, so this isn't behind the curtain or anything like that. But I'd guess the whole thing with Build, that Build Almost Live stream was his words a bit more, well, not his words, but his sentiment, a bit more stressful than perhaps it could have been. So yeah, I guess if you're looking for extra crew members for this, for live mixing and all that, that maybe suggests we're going to start going down the live route. I mean, from what I've heard, WXW Now is expected to move to VHX. It's like a Vimeo white label service. It's the same one Rev Pro uses, and they've been streaming virtually all their stuff since they moved.
And it's not been having any problems either, has it, the Rev Pro?
The only problems Rev Pro once have had has been, and I'm being generous here, probably
it's
one
Rev
Rev
Pro
Pro
fault rather than the platform.
Yeah. Rev Pro or the venue's Wi-Fi rather than VHX, which I mean,
we're not knocking you, Andy. We love you, really.
No. But I mean, I think it was the December 229 show I was watching when I was away, and I think that went up in like 4 or 5 parts because the feed kept cutting. Again, that's down to the venue. They did a show in St. Neots. Was it Friday the 30th? So just over a week ago. That feels a lot longer than a week ago. But yeah, we did a show in St. Neots that streamed live, no problems whatsoever. So
wonderful.
I think it's more if the internet holds up, and guys in Germany, feel free to insert your jokes about the quality of German internet. But hey, we have issues too. But so that's something to maybe look forward to. And yeah, if we're doing live streaming a bit more often, then that might.
Yeah.
Again, I don't expect them to have Dave Bradshaw over for every show. Like I don't see him going to Balkan for a Wheel of Wrestling random taping, but certainly the big shows it opens up the door.
But they don't necessarily need to have Dave for those, because as I say, you can have someone like Met Damasi do it. You could have Andy Jackson do it. There's plenty of people who could do it.
Yeah, I mean, think all the guys.
Yeah.
Think all the guys we have for German commentary are dual.
Well, I mean, Sebastian can do it as well.
Sebastian, Christian, Met, Andy, and I mean, correct me, we've gone over this before, but Met, he's fairly new. Like, yeah, he did ring announcing for the Academy show, and it's like you would not know, listening to his stuff, but I'm making a bit of assumption, but English not his native tongue. That's how natural some seem to be slipping in Like you've got Germans, German speakers of folks who are more at home, speaking German to cover all my bases.
This is completely speculation. Maybe we should actually just ask him. But I assumed he was American and moved to Germany.
Let me ask that, and if I get a response by the end of the day or end of the stream, we can patch that in. But
yeah, sorry, we're just speculating on the nationality of somebody. But I thought, yeah, I don't know. Well, no, we like you, Matt. So it's not. We're not saying it in a bad way.
So anyway, before we dig ourselves into any kind of bother and get ourselves banned from Carrot Weekend, let's look back at last year. So we've written up some of the main beats for 2022. I'm not going to go through all of them, but go month by month, and some months will be busier than others. But yeah, January just for one show had the Kayfik Schlacht, and yeah, this kind of tells you how far we've come in a year. Robert Dreisker and Anil Marek losing in a handicap Kayfik Schlacht against Margaret Heisenberg and Baby Allison.
Yes, it was the sort of the big return to the Kayfik Schlacht, and this felt like the first show of new WXW. I think.
Yeah,
in that
we've
sense,
done shows with a crowd at the back end of 2021, but this was the first full year with crowds, and some restrictions, but not to the level where we were having to deal with in the second half of 21.
Yeah, to like 2020, 2021, the show, it was still a little bit zombie WXW. It was still sort of, it felt a lot like a, it was an online promotion really for most of the year. There was a lot of, because they still were doing they did the Blitz Tournier, which was a bit of a disaster, I think. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say. And then we had the big farewell from Walter before he retired at anniversary. But yeah, this felt like when you say sort of how far things have gone, this kind of felt like the start of the new era in a way for me.
Of course, elsewhere in the show, Axel Tischer retained the Unified World Wrestling title against Levaniel. There's a full circle thing when we come to the show this month. House of Hungry kept the tag titles over Sens of Ultra, Igel Blanc, and one from left field for Shotgun champion, Absolute Andy, beat Dennis Stolnig, which there's a name we haven't heard of on shows for a long while.
It's astonishing that Levaniel was title contender for over a year now, really, isn't it? It's
on and off, yeah.
Yeah.
Long-term project.
Almost constantly, really. He was always in the storyline evolved around it. So that's astonishing, really, isn't it?
Someone easily put out of mind with other stuff going on, I guess.
Yeah.
February just had the Road 16 Carat Gold tournament. Dennis Stolnig, Paige Tahani qualified. Of course, the precursor to 16 Carat Gold. Tristan Archer won the world title from Axel Tischer, main event of Championship Saturday. Also had Jörn Simmons and Levaniel said as well. Jonathan Gresham won Carat. Irie cracked Arbe for Headbutt and Ambition, which
still hear that now.
I still get nightmares of that laugh. But no, that's the thing. Remember about Headbutt. Without looking at notes, who won Ambition from last year?
Good question. I've forgotten. It was Bobby Guns, wasn't it?
Bobby Guns, because he went out in round one. Ever beat Kolaski to win women's title Coward Weekend. More title changes. Fast Time Mudo, Steffi Mays won the tag titles from House of Hungry. Absolute Andy had to vacate the Shotgun title. Ninja Mac won it.
Yes.
He was a very late addition to Coward Weekend, if I remember. Like that was like the weekend of.
Yeah, so that was Thursday. Thursday afternoon.
He was announced.
He was. The decision was made Thursday morning, I believe, wasn't it? That's the impression I got from Tass when we spoke to him ahead of Carrot. He was a literally last minute people, it was he slotted in, and he'll forever be a member of the WXW
Shotgun Hall of Fame
crew now, because he was Shotgun champion, the most prestigious belt in the champ company. So,
and then went on to win a belt in Noah by accident because of an injury, which I don't want to say if this was an accidental one, but sure as hell wasn't the plan going into the weekend. So there's two bits of cage match profile. Of course, Maggot won by the end of the weekend and never looked back. Yeah, and then end of the weekend, Francis Castleman got attacked by Robert Dreisker after the Carrot final. He stood down, retired from WXW again. April, we had Norman Harris being the new director of sports and then put himself in all the shotgun lottery matches. Yearn won the Unified World Wrestling title from Tristan Archer, and he's the first and so far only three-time champion, which is a bit of a surprise, that one. Baby Allison won her title back from beat Ava Neva in Frankfurt to win women's title.
And this was around the time, I think, it's sort of saying about Baby Allison that Carrot and sort of this period, I think it's fair to say that Baby Allison had never been considered somebody. I'll be honest, she was never considered somebody who was any good, to be completely honest, was she? I think it was kind of widely considered she wasn't really anything. But this past sort of the period that she had sort of towards in 2021 into Carrot, the difference you could if you told me there were two different wrestlers, I would have believed you. I think at that point, and I think she'd had this start of the fact she got this women's title win sort of in her hometown. I think it's really established that this was, I think, key to establishing her as one of the top people in WXW. And now she can hold her own, and like she's getting involved with the storylines now as well. And she's really key part of the company now.
It's not just coming in for a few matches to fill out the card. I mean, it's that match with Alice Inc. for back end of this year that really jumped off the page, and you'd expect it to be a case that a matter of when, not if, gets back around in the title picture. Also had we touched upon this briefly. Dennis Stolnig injured his knee in Papenburg.
Poor Dennis.
I mean, he finished the match, which if it's one thing, I remember watching that back, and you don't really see where the injury happened, or being that obvious. He's out for a year, and I guess knee injury, you'd expect something anytime now, maybe coming towards Carrot, depending on how bad the injury was, when the surgery and all that was. But not one speculating injuries on Abia.
The hope is he's back for Carrot as a surprise. That'd be lovely. That'd be a Saturday evening mystery person in a tag team match. The tag team gauntlet. Get Dennis Stolnig out. Brilliant stuff. That's what you want, I think.
And I'm now getting flashbacks to Inner Circle last year, where his entrance never stopped at Inner Circle. I mean, to be fair, I'd not my entrance to finish as well against AC Romero, so
Yeah.
Heading into May, Harris ended the shotgun title lottery because he couldn't win the belt, and he still hasn't. So, cut your nose up to spite your own face, Norman. They resumed doing live events that didn't make tape, starting in Orbit Traveling, which is a shame. But again, I guess when you start on a full schedule, you don't want everything making tape. The Rev Pro problem. Stephanie May's injured knee again. Fast Time Mood refused to pick a new partner, so he ends up on his own in a three-way match. Rotten Flot won the titles, and we've not heard that much of Stephanie May since. Which I know she's back in training. I've seen bits on Instagram, what have you, but. I think it's definitely put a span in the works of Fast Time Mudo on WXW this year. That was past year.
Yeah, and I think Mudo, sort of in a reflection, I think Mudo was kind of one of the stars of the. We've said this before, but Mudo was one of the stars of the close set era. He kind of came out of nowhere, but really sort of pulled his socks up. Well, he wasn't wearing any, but
well, don't know.
He really sort of kicked it up a gear, I think, in sort of the closer era, but kind of feel like he's been sinking a bit ever since. I don't think sort of when he come back to the crowds, it doesn't seem to have come across the way maybe we would have liked it to have.
So moving to June, and WXW finally returned for Mark Toller and had an impromptu Ironman match. I think the original was Jonathan Gresham and Tristan Archer. Gresham pulled out. So instead, we got an hour-long Axel Tischer Tristan Archer Ironman match, which I think live didn't go down well live. I saw more than a few people say they put off Iron Man matches for a while with that, which again, needs must. When you have next to no notice, you do what you can do. Gresham did get his title shot a week later. They did a double header in Oberhausen, broken rules from some Wheel of Wrestling tapings, lost by a count out to Tristan Archer. That weekend, though, was more notable for one other thing. Yeah, return of Fahura.
Yeah, of course. Sexy. Sexy.
No, of course, we're meant to Amboss. The one thing in wrestling I cannot do around the dog, because every time I do the handout and the douche, but my dog tries to bite me. Every time I do the ambush thing, Honey the dog jumps up and starts going for me. It's like, okay, that's probably something passed on, but yeah. So unfortunately, she's not done for TV yet when I've been watching Amboss, but matter of time. Yeah, Robert Dreisker, I Was So Hungry, Lawrence Roman, new four-man group. I guess the easy comparisons on day one was, the new Rise, but they kind of haven't run roughshod over the whole promotion. It's just been
they've kind of been bullies really for people who they've been
trained.
bullies to lower level people. And as I say, I think almost the kayfabe slap thing coming up soon is a little bit too early, because you want sort of in the summer sort of time, you want the kayfabe slack sort of thing, but you want Amboss versus the WXW Super Team. You want the big stars going off against Amboss. Like you want a Tisha Guns Simmons and I don't know Tiani sort of thing. You want that sort of match to come, and I don't know whether we will get that, but yeah, they've run roughshod over the lower mid card. They've
And
not gone after
mostly their trainees as well. Let's be frank.
Yeah. They've not gone after the maggots. They've not gone after the the Guns or the Simmonses. They've gone after the lower mid card, and it's they could do better.
Well, early days of Amboss, and we're all about that, but go to July. WXW back in Hamburg, this time at the Grünspan. Lovely looking venue. Mine's all standing, so bit of a problem when you have like a stag party dressed up as Hulk Hogan on the hard cap side. But yeah, there was also a show that saw the end of Only Friends. This was a dead end course in July. They failed to beat Rotten Flot. The stipulation was the losers couldn't take part in the World Tag Festival.
Only Friends who released the best worst T-shirt ever made in WXW history.
The most psychedelic entrance video as well.
Yeah. It is the best bad T-shirt I've ever seen. So there we go.
Only in wrestling.
Yeah.
We also had Ahura beating Norman Harris for a shot at Tristan Archer's title. That was something Ahura's contract. He swapped him out when he came back. And there's a load of these pitfalls. I mean, Norman, you suck as an admin if you let all these get by you. But yep, he beat Norman Harris, got a shot at the title. And Tristan Archer beat Jörn Simmons with some help from Vincent Heisenberg. That meant Jörn couldn't get a title shot as long as Archer was the champion. Seemed to be a bit of a theme, this. A lot of do a bunch of matches and then you're disqualified from having another go. And end of July, we said goodbye to Essen Kartenberg. The Wrestling Academy moved out and upsticks to Gelsenkirchen. And the Plumbers moved into the old Academy building in Essen. So
yeah, no more trips to Essen Zollverein Nord anymore. I mean, we could still go there.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I've always wanted to go to the big mine thing, the actual Zollverein. I've actually always wanted to do that, but I've never had time on a weekend. So that I have to. One year, I'm going to go a day early and just go to that because
and get yourself locked in Tim's toilets as well, just for all time's sake.
Yeah, I will never ever get locked in Tim's toilet anymore, or Dreisker's dumper, or any other variations on that theme. Yeah, so it was sad to go there, but as I say, we'll go on to it in a minute. But they are in a great place now.
So August, Levaniel won Shawcut for top to keep the whole Levaniel being around title contention the whole year stuff. WXW went back to Paris to run a show for APC. Tristan Archer won the Fight for Paris tournament. Calypso beat Baby Allison by count out in a non-title match there. She then earned a title shot at Shawcut for top. She won that one by count out. Of course, Archer beat Ahura to retain the Unified World title at Shawcut.
just to jump in here, this was also this same weekend. They also had the Vans show.
Yes, the one that got streamed with the guy who
Brain Mess or something like
it was Brain Dead's for clothing brand, but the guy who was streaming, I forget his name. Poor Dave Bradshaw. You could I mean, he won't be fair. The guy did warm to by the end, but you could tell at the start it was more of an ascent of I'm spending my Friday night watching this.
that.
It was a hell of a show, and I think it's still up on the Van's YouTube page. And I know Tristan Archer and Igel Blanc did get released on. Well, you can watch it at the moment because it's offline. The WXW Zugarben Volume 3, the offcut show. But yeah, if it's on Twitch, also was it Axel Tischer and Swerve Strickland, which
that
was
Volto versus Lycos as well.
Yep, some bookings which must be out left field, but not for complaining. But then, of course, the debut of WXW Fight Forever. So we're doing a taping every other month at the new building in Gelsenkirchen, the Gelsenkirchen Fight Club. Match has been released on YouTube. No, I guess it's kind of canon. I guess it's not like it's being filmed in a vacuum. We are trying to weave stuff together. Like the November stuff did have stuff which bled into the anniversary matches.
Yeah, there were some things which had implications. Yeah.
So it isn't just matches thrown up for the sake of it. And obviously, we've seen this year WXW's YouTube channel. They've moved it towards being more of an English-speaking language. So so it's gone more for the non-German market, which I guess if you've got to pick between one and the other, I guess that's a good way to go. At least, speaking Welsh, at least, if you don't want to have duplicates.
It does make me query why they don't just upload both though, and just do one in German and one in English. I don't know. Probably.
Maybe
I suppose
in March.
It avoids somebody typing in Bobby Guns WXW and then watching a match in German and says, "Well, this was rubbish because I didn't understand a word." I suppose it avoids that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I saw a while back. I know this is going horribly off topic. Linus Tech Tips had a YouTube channel.
Yes.
They were talking about YouTube apparently have the option for alternate audio tracks. Again, I know our YouTube channel for this. I literally just upload a rip of this and post. I guess it's not very user friendly. It's something that will work for the end result, but certainly if it's something that if you could have two files and upload and go right, because we're all going to be the same length. It's just the audio dubbing with changes. I mean, they used to do it from the old WXW now.
It can't be that. I say, we are going off topic, but surely it's an element of Google will look at your account and go, this person's English or this guy's American. They will give, or this guy's from Czech Republic. We're going to give him the English commentary.
Yeah,
and then this guy's from Austria. We'll give him the German commentary. I don't know, maybe, or the fact that just whatever language your Google account is in, surely it would just change to whatever matches that. But
I know YouTube is a bit unfriendly in terms of functionality for creators, but maybe one see if there's an explosion with Fight Forever early days. September, not much happening. They took a late summer holiday, but you can probably speak this bit more. They debuted in Vienna with was it SimCity, the venue?
Yes, SimCity, which was a
great computer game.
Yeah, great computer game. Not the biggest crowd ever. It was a sort of a promoted show. WXW did the show, but it was promoted by another promoter, as is fairly common with. It's something like I think about 40% of their WXW shows tend to be those ones. So your ones in places like
Fulda, Bielefeld.
Fulda, Bielefeld. They tend to be promoted by local people, but they're promoting WXW and that sort of thing. So yeah, Vienna was a similar thing. Interesting venue, a little bit like the Dome in Pufnell Park, if you've ever been there. Coming on to that in a bit. But yeah, it was a decent little show. But yeah, it was the first show in Austria, and everybody was confused why the hell I was there.
Well, be fair, a lot of people are saying, "What the fuck are you doing here, Mike?" It's that thing for that whole week.
People were very confused. They were like, "Why have you come to Vienna to watch this?"
I took a wrong turn.
In fairness, everybody said, "Why have you come to Vienna?" And then it says, "By the way, I really like Vienna. This is so good. So yeah, it's a good idea coming here. But most people, yeah, it was a bit of a confusion for a lot of people.
So again, end of September, we had Inner Circle 12, the first one at the new Gelsenkirchen venue.
Yeah.
Featured Fumino Abe and Marshall Slamovich starting their great weekends there. And Shigehiro Irie nearly killing all of us on that corner of the ring after the sweatbox didn't.
Landing on us.
The
And
first time he
also,
did that cannonball into the ropes, where he
the
didn't go for back, and yeah, nearly spills out the ring into 3 or 4 of us, which, yeah, flashbacks to Mirie this year.
the other near injury was Lawson nearly getting punched full on in the face by Ilya Bloom.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
That was literally he said he felt the hairs on his nose rustle. That was how close it was.
He's not going to get out of PWG this weekend, is he?
Yeah, fingers crossed, poor bugger. But yeah, that was another near injury. It's very intimate, is what we'd say about the Inner
Yeah.
Circle. It is intimate.
What used to like that about the Essen venue? One thing we didn't say, bring it up now. That Essen show was all standing.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, that was back when you had to wear masks, and there was no way around it. So it was a nice way to go out. It wasn't sit in an orderly queue around the ring or anything like that. So it's a good way to leave Essen. And as long as we get the temperature under control, if it means we've got to wear shorts or even worse, then
I'm preparing to wear shorts.
We've already said this. I am never going to that venue in the middle of summer.
Well, yeah. It doesn't matter if there's 3 foot of snow in March. I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing shorts inside that venue. It was to the point where, and it wasn't particularly warm that weekend. It was at a point where, as I came out of that show, I immediately took my shirt off. That was how hot it was.
These shows just went up on the network over weeks up to Christmas, and you can see me in particular, because I'm a fat sod. You can see me in particular with the camera, and it's like snap, snap, swipe, snap, snap, swipe. It was that like I've never had my eyes sting because of sweat before.
Yeah,
and it was like
I think we slowly turned red during that show as well.
Well, didn't all of us, but yeah, we're getting single digits in Celsius outside. It's like it's going to be great for weight cutting. That wasn't what we were planning on doing, though.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tag Festival in October. Fair bit went on. Tristan Archer defended the title against Mike Bailey. French Dolls won the tag titles, which going back to them being challenger back in January. Now they won the titles. Norman Harris wound up with Levaniel all weekend long. Levaniel was originally ruled out the weekend of injury, came back, somehow didn't get his title shot, and had to beat Jacob Crane to get the title shot. And of course, the Barrico boys, I'm now blanking on the name, Joe Keys and Dante Caballero, interfered with their belts and all that. So Levaniel had the title shot, but being wound up throughout. Then Bielefeld, after the weekend, Pretty Bastards and the French Adores went to no contest. Kept that little tag feud going until the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think from Mr. Fair, but I would obviously had Alice Inc. wins Femme Fatale, then won the title the next night. I think the only thing I can really jumps out from that weekend, not a match because we're going to talk about this, I guess, when we do our picks for matches and all that for the year. Who were nearly vomiting on me on night 3?
Yeah.
That whole match where he had, because the storyline he had was at night 1 he wrestled on Saturday, or he went to his brother's wedding. Night 3 he's hungover and spends the whole match dry heaving. Great.
Yeah, it was great stuff. That was great stuff. The only thing I would say about the World Tag Team Festival is that was WXW as we know it. Carrot was, as I said, Carrot was like one of the most positive weekends I've ever, positive wrestling events, actually just general events I've ever been to, simply because it was good to be back. But WXW World Tag Team Festival was the WXW we know and the WXW we love. I think it was the match quality was right back up to where we like it to be. we'd also had, 6 people who came to Carrot had 6 months of knowing the new guys, so then it felt a bit familiar with that sort of sense. So, with that, I feel like that they've just really, really nailed World Tag Team Festival. I think it's one of the best. I genuinely think it's one of the best weekenders I've ever done in
Yep.
WXW, for sure. It would be in my top 3, I think. And
I think helped by
Yeah.
the fact we had some degree of rice pudding by the end of the weekend. There wasn't. We had French doors and Boss for final. I know there was a little bit of disgruntlement over the double count out Marie Styles, maybe a bit too NXT for some people's tastes, but
yeah,
it did end up with the good guys winning and celebrating. So let's see if we get rewarded like a carrot or whether it's back to bread and water again.
yeah. I mean, you after that length of time, you have to send everybody home. And I think the way to end 16 Karat Gold was brave. It was brave, to have the end with Dreisker turning and laying out Gresham. That was a brave decision.
Yeah,
But it paid off in the long run because you've got a very hot heel in Dreisker with Amboss. So,
we'll go
but
back
yeah,
9 months on this, and my memory's a little bit fuzzy before that, but they had the whole, Gresham when he gave his speech, if I can do it, you can too. Then Trice came out and attacked, and then after they went off air, they did the whole farewell for Kachi, which
yes,
it was, obviously didn't get released anywhere, but super jarring if it had.
yeah, it was, it was. If you weren't upset about the if you weren't upset about the Dreisker thing, you were upset because of the really, very, really heartfelt sort of farewell to Katya. So yeah, it was a bit of a tug and it was a bit of a jarring end to the weekend, really, wasn't it? It was
But
positive except for the last hour.
yeah. Moving on to November, Levaniel was forced to use a shotgun title shot. There had been a video released a few days before, that he'd been injured in training. He lost in short order to Tristan Archer. Then they pulled the big reset. Norman, you've overstepped your boundaries. All your actions have been undone. So he starts his title shot in play. Allison defended women's title against Baby Allison in Frankfurt. I would say if people watched probably a late shout for match of the year or definitely on people's ballots for WXW. And then we did that double header in Canada with Smash. Only one of the 2 shows have gone out, so can't really say too much more on that. December, again, can't really say much because it ain't on VOD yet. But big spoilers, Levaniel won the Unified World title over Tristan Archer.
It's on their Twitter, so
yeah, they've posted. I'm not
Yeah.
not telling you how the pudding's made or anything like that, but he finally got his title shot while healthy. Levaniel's won the title. Rotten Flot failed to beat the French Doors, so they are now barred from going for the tag titles. At least all the French Doors have the belts, so new challengers needed, I guess, at some point. And yeah, that was the year that was 2022. First full year with crowds since the pandemic, and a lot going on, even if it does feel like Levaniel's in the main event scene quite a bit.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think it's looking back at the year, it's been a year I think they've obviously had to adjust, and all independent promotions or small promotions have to do an element of sort of booking on the fly, don't they? So
You've got to be nimble and react.
yeah, and I say the strength of WXW has always been they have a really, really good core roster, and you can chuck somebody in a little bit left field, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's weird," but yeah, we get it. Levaniel's sort of year has been I reflecting on the result. I'm not thrilled, to say the least. It's not something I'm particularly overexcited. But to be honest, for me, I don't know if this is a weird thing to say, but the unified title has never been that well booked. I think in WXW, it's never been one that barring maybe the 2017 into 2018 sort of period, I don't ever think it's the most. It's always felt a bit like people sort of been thrown towards it without much thing. And Lavagna is a gamble. I don't know how many people. I mean, people will buy tickets for Carrot regardless, but I don't know how Lavagna can step into a big Saturday night title match on the Saturday night of Carrot.
Yeah, that's going to be the big gamble, and I
Yeah.
think especially with
That's the sink or swim time.
Yeah, I think right now, obviously, we're doing Lavagna and Archer again in Hamburg this weekend. Scrolling down a bit the upcoming cards, and you've got that you have Axel Tischer getting a shot at Back to the Roots. And then after that was Bad Sacking, you've got Jörn and Tristan Archer. I mean, I think we kind of spitballed a while back.
I think you're
Jörn
aiming towards
Lavagna.
Jörn Lavagna, yes.
But then, again, we can, it's not something you can't do, but it also feels like you're going from Jörn and Heisenberg this weekend. It's a quick turnaround, but again, who else is there right now?
Well, it's a quick turnaround, but there's two big shows this month. So there's Dead End this weekend, and at the end of the month you've got Back to the Roots. So there is time to do it. Plus, when you include Bielefeld, although Bad Sacking, and I don't think it's going to be a recorded show. So
no, it wouldn't be turned around in time, I don't think, for folks to watch. I wouldn't
suspect it would be, yeah. So with that, you're kind of thinking, well, you've got at least 3 shows to do something with. So with that, I don't really think maybe you can build something special. And they could announce somebody great at Dead End, and they're like, oh, we've got Lavagna, Tim Thatcher, or something like that. Brilliant.
Don't tease me.
Yeah, but do I want to watch Lavagna versus Tim Thatcher? I don't know if I do. So yeah, it's a looking forward, looking back, really, really good year. Looking forward, not really sure what to say about the world title.
I think it's going to be one. If Lavagna is going to be a long-term champion, it's going to be defined by who's challenging him. If only because of his own lack of experience, and that's not to say he's no good. But I mean, the whole story around him was Carrot 2020. He was the joke who was telling stories as DJ Hyde lost in that tag gauntlet.
Yes, he has, and the worry is that I don't think he's really progressed from that, even for now. And I've watched everything he's done since, and I still don't think he's progressed really much from it.
Yeah, and I think it's something. Like I said, sink or swim, and hopefully it's we're all pleasantly surprised. But yeah,
there's nobody who wants Lavagna to do well more than me. So it's not. I'm not saying this is a thing. I just am very, very concerned about that.
So we've got now the obligatory, I won't say awards, but a few picks for our favorite stuff of the year, and I'm not going to do them in the order I've written these down, Mike. So let's go with do your pick, then mine. We'll do the whole snake thing. Most improved wrestler of 2022.
So I would say my most improved. I said earlier, I think Baby Allison for sure is one that is absolutely kicked it out of the park this year. She's done very well. Likewise, I think Tristan Archer as well. And it seems a bit of an oxymoron to say that Archer, considering he spent the most, well, let's say 75% of the year as champion. But I think that when he won, he was nowhere in the conversation in March. Even on the night of the Carrot, he was nowhere near it.
Yep.
He won the title. Everybody went. Yeah, he won the title, and everyone went, "Oh bloody hell!" What have they done this for? But he's been perfectly serviceable the whole year, and I think talk about somebody sort of grabbing the ball and running with it. I think he's done well. Sort of the whole. I think the character work he did at Tag Fest was really, really good. The whole talking in French, because that's one way to get heel kick out of Germans and English people. So
piss off everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it would probably, for me, it would be a tie between Allison and Archer.
I went with Allison, but another name probably thrown is Heisenberg.
Oh yes,
just because, again, it's one of these, the role he's had has been, I would say, limited, but when you've been the big guy and not really worked like that to some extent, he's kind of grown out in that sense. And I'm really interested to see how the match of the year this weekend goes, because
yes,
that Brawl and Bielefeld really jumped off the page. Again, I don't think it's anyone like sink or swim, but the fact he's working elsewhere a lot more now in obvious place to do make tape. He did Body Slam last year. He's been in GWF as well a few times. So hopefully that's just going to carry on the progression. He's not just the guy they wheel out.
He's working everywhere that he can, which is what you should be doing. He's working Berlin. He's working for GWF, but he's also working quite a lot in Project Nova, which is Vinny Defoe's sort of promotion
Almost
for
like,
young wrestlers in Berlin.
I guess an official GWF developmental, if you want to
although it's that would be oversimplifying it, but yeah, it's a German. Basically, the idea is there's lots of really, really good young German/European wrestlers. Let's get them all in one place, and in a way, the closest thing I consider it to be is a bit like the Trinity Brawl shows they were doing in Ireland.
Oh God, you both, just without anyone from was it Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, well, but I kind of see like Project Nova is a bit like the whole Trinity Brawl shows, where it's everybody who's really, really good and young in wrestling in Europe, all in one place. Let's light the room, make it look great, have some great matches for your show reel, and it's a really, really fun promotion to watch. So, sorry, bit of a tangent, but yeah, he's working everywhere.
Like we don't do both.
Yeah, he's working everywhere he really can do, and he seems to be avoiding the dodgy promotions in Germany as well, which is always a good thing to do.
Knock on wood. So I'll go next on this one. Most underrated. I mean, say not by us. Hector.
I mean, I was going to say, do you need to ask me? Number one. Hector.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's one of those. Like with Mudo when Steffi Mays went down, Hector I think really struggled when Dennis Dolnick went down injured. And I don't want to say struggled not since he sank, but whatever ideas they had, I mean, clearly, they had the whole thing where they, love-hate relationship. They finally got on the same page, and then boom, Dennis's knee went.
I think Hector would have had. I think Hector and Dolnick would have had the Pretty Bastards spot at Tagfest this year.
Yeah,
in the sense of they would have been the face comedy team. I think that's kind of in my head. That's what's happened. But to sort of say about Hector, as I said, I think I don't really know what there is in terms of sort of promo ability, because he doesn't really get a lot of them. That being said, the bits I've seen of him, he seems very good. But bell to bell, crisp as anything. For a man of his size, crisp as anything. He bases really well for the luchas. His drop kick is. I did a tweet. I saw a funny tweet that I posted at Carrot. Not to blow my own trumpet, but if Nikita Charisma is the professor at Dropkick University, then Hector is the vice chancellor. Like, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I has to be number one, Hector. Number two, very, very close. I'd say Ava Everett for me. We went about her the other week. Really, really, really good run. And I think every time she's coming out, I can remember a lot of what she's done this year, and I think that's half the battle.
Poor D getting absolutely. She found the one American at that first in a circle, and oh boy, that was a way to ingratiate yourself with a new crowd. Anyway, so move on to tag team of the year, and I'm gonna go with Rotten Flot, just for the fact that I've always had a soft spot for tag teams that are bad guys, but do it with like a nudge and a wink without being too, hey, we're cheating, nudge, not like being too overbearing. But I guess best way I can describe like the Eddie Guerrero stuff, in his heyday.
They should do. They did they do underhanded things that make you cheer, but then they follow it up with underhanded things that make you want to bloody hit them with sticks.
Tag Festival
And
this year when they
yeah,
beat
exactly.
Amboss. And the
And
whole
that's
thing for Nikita being tied on the post,
yeah.
rolling in the nick of time. Everyone came unglued. They
They
could have done that elsewhere and been booed out the building.
they do underhanded things against the good guys, and you want to hit them for it, but then they do underhand things against the really evil bastards at Amboss. And yeah, I think we're unanimous on this one for sure. It is 100%. I think rotten flop,
I would
brilliant
say
year.
I was so hungry, we probably would have come in second had, maybe they lost the title, maybe had the titles during the pandemic-ish era. Obviously, they lost to Mudo and Mays Carrot. I think had Dover not gone down inch, I think that with the current label line, they could have won the titles back over Tag Festival. But yeah, I think Rotten Flot just for all over the place. I mean, I was going back through videos this year. Sadly never went anywhere. They even almost have a feud of Oscar, which
Yeah,
it's that whole show they spent chasing him around to the Turbine Hall.
Oscar. Yeah, that was another good one. Yeah, yeah. I think it's just from it was a home run year. I think for Rotten Flot, they fitted very well into the whole. Kind of I think picked up a little bit where JFK left off, even though they may be a little bit different. But they've kind of slotted into that spot in my eyes.
And Wrestle of the Year, I'll let you go first on this one.
I think for me, just in general, I think you've got to go for Maggot.
Yeah.
Okay, if we probably agree on this one as well. Maggot for me, I think has, and I don't think it's just me who said this. He's stepped out of the, not to say the shadow, but he stepped out a bit of the. You can be in the WXW mid card and you're popular with WXW people, but if you step out of that thing and you become known for being Maggot and not known for being, oh, that's the guy who's really good in WXW, that's for me is a success. One of the most organically over wrestlers I've seen,
Yep.
I think, since Ilya.
That shocking title match of Carrot,
Yeah.
just wave that whole room, almost as one for him,
Yeah, organically over, say probably since Guns or Ilya, I think. Although I probably lean towards more of Ilya sort of style. Really good. Good performances outside of WXW as well. He's somehow become one of the only good things that people say is any good about Progress. So good on him for that. He's worked. Yeah, he's got a great look. He's the music works. Everyone loves the catchy songs.
Wood chips and mulch.
Wood chips and mulch on Warner Chapel if you want to find it. For me, he's just a total package. I think bell to bell, really good. The sky's the limit for him. I think. I think he could go worldwide. To be completely honest.
Yep. He did well in Canada, at least from a show, but it has gone out.
Yeah. So, if we were looking at a WrestleMania weekend coming up where there was a WXW show and Maggot was also doing everything else, then I think you could be looking at a summer of Maggot, just a summer of Maggot in general.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's Maggot is number one for me without a question.
So we said 1A being Maggot, so I would say for 1B, got to be Robert Dreisker. If only just because of versatility. I mean, we start the year as a good guy, but still, a little bit curmudgeonly, pissed off with his trainees. Lost in the Carrot final. That was the motivation for him to snap and ultimately form Amboss. Okay, he's been tormenting his trainees, but that's been the theme of this whole year. And the fact that he's been able to do that, carry the same character over, but not just straight copy paste. Do the same thing Hungarian Championship Wrestling. He's done the same thing Passion Pro, Pro Wrestling Österreich, which one of these days I will get on to watch more than just the Oku Tahani matching.
Which is great, by the way.
Which was great, but Michael Oku's YouTube channel, since PWO haven't released that show yet, if Mike's released it, well, I guess he's got it legitimately, else properly edited. But yeah, so Dry Scout says a 1B, and I would dare say, it feels like every year we say he's due for title run or he's due for winning Carrot. I would not be surprised if 2023 was Irie Dry Scout's final, just based on the way they've been putting both guys at least long-term trajectories.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult to sort of it's difficult to know where Irie's standing is in WXW, because I think if Irie was here full time, you'd put the title on him, wouldn't you? I mean, would
Never
you?
promotion in Europe, absolutely.
Yeah, like you'd put the title on Irie here if he was here full time. You'd make him the main.
I would have him beat Great O'Connor in Rev Pro.
Well,
That's...
yeah. I'd have him go over everybody in Rev Pro. But yeah, like if he was here all the time, you'd put the belt on him, wouldn't you? And it's, I think, naturally over with the locals. I don't think there's anybody since Tim, at least sort of from a foreigner sort of angle, like Irie and Tim. I think the same sort of level. I think for me. It's, as I say, it's always difficult to judge where he is because he's only here 2 weekends a year. But he got to the semis this year, didn't he?
Yep, lost to Gresham the semis.
Yeah, he got to the semis the year before that, didn't he? I think
quarters, I believe, in 2020.
He did well. He's done well in the Tag Fest. Yeah, I think it's a shrewd choice for Wrestler of the Year. But I mean, he would definitely be in the top 10 for sure. And I think sort of if there was a kayfabe WXW power rankings, you'd have him knocking on that top 10 all the time, I think.
Yep.
Even if he's not here half the time.
So move on to Match of the Year now. WXW put it between doing these, Match of the Year, Wrestler, for these awards. They put a graphic up of their top 9 matches of the year, and there's one match which, and I know this is
being shrewd,
being cynical. It's you could argue it's for engagement, but some of the matches.
Chrissy with some shrewd social media 101 there. Hey, do something a little bit controversial.
Well, hang on a second. I'm not sitting now. I'm not going to throw anybody who doesn't pick an absolute crap match, but
they did a good job.
Bobby Guns, Jonathan Gresham from Night One of Carrot, Abe Irie for Ambition, Simmons Heisenberg from Broken Rules 20, Masha Slavich against Alice Inc. from Pembertal, Metahan against Axel Tischer from the Wheel of Wrestling that weekend, Speedball against Tihani from Night 3 of Tag Festival, Amboss and French Doors for Tag Festival Final, Arch Lavaniel from Anniversary, and the ladder matcher who Margaret from Anniversary, which we completely didn't talk about because it hasn't made tape yet. But the one match everyone's saying was missing, which isn't on this graphic, Violence is Forever against Irie and Abe. I think hands down for me, match of the year WXW. The only one I can think would even put it close would be the Igel Blanc Tihani one from Carrot. And even then there's quite a gap. At least in terms of grabbing attention, but hands down, Violence Forever, Irie Abe, match of the year, and I'm not saying you're out of lunch if you pick anything else, but I think just being live and everything else that push it over.
Everybody I know who saw that match and are the sort of people to do their compile their matches onto spreadsheets. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not a thing I do. But all of the spreadsheet people who have seen that match have put it in their top 10. And that's people who watch more wrestling in a year than I can watch in 10 years. That's the sort of people we're talking about, and they've pretty much unanimously, the ones I've seen, have put it in the top 10. And I think, as I say, a little bit cynical, but I think they deliberately omitted that from that top 9 simply so everyone went, oh, but what about this one? Up your engagement, but good stuff.
Well, thanks to Elon, 10,000 views and a lot of mentions.
A lot of quote tweets. not the most quote tweets they've had this year, but anyway, the match that I was sort of saying was like a bit of a surprise, but for me, I think this was probably my favorite match of the year was Bobby Guns versus Tisha from Shortcut. I thought that was
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
random mid card match, which we thought, what the,
better than any right it ever had to be.
yeah, that's
And
not a knock on every two guys,
no,
but
no, no.
just
I mean the
where those from
ingredients.
card.
It's you've got a meal and you've got some delicious ingredients, and it was great. And I just thought that was really, really good. It got slept on, I think, because it was on Shortcut. It wasn't on one of the big weekenders. If that had been on night one of Carrot, I think people would have been, great stuff. But
Yep.
for me, that was a bit of an omission. But it was on a show that not as many people watched, unfortunately, because I don't even think the Shortcut got onto the network, did it?
Let me check. I think it did. The problem with the network stuff of it always goes on a massive delay. Like Carrot obviously doesn't go on, but things like what's it? No, like in a certain like not Carrot, like Tag Festival.
Well, they have
so
about
like
a month delay, don't they?
A month delay. Shortcut for Top 22 is on the network. Went to end of September. So
yeah. By the time everyone's talking about TagFest, so
yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one that I mean, you mentioned two others, but that's the only one that I sort of think, I thought that would have been the one would have been in there towards the end. I mean, that
Yeah.
was in my top, sort of in my head, that was in my top five for sure. Because I think that was a really, really good match. But it had such great ingredients, so why wouldn't it be good?
So go through
Yeah.
2023, obviously just starting. Any predictions? I think for me, NXT Europe continues to be, I don't want to say threatened, but there's a lot of, so we say, dark Twitter rumors that they're signing people, that there's people being snapped up for preparations. Logistically, I mean, this is me with zero inside knowledge and fully aware that I'm going to look like an idiot if this does happen. Logistically, I don't see how it can happen. Like, you had NXT UK based out of a warehouse in Enfield and TV tapings in TV partner studios. Before then, you had touring around one country. How on earth would that work? Like, do you base them in France and Germany and Italy and Spain? Well, it's the whole thing of you say Europe. Okay, no, I know Eurovision is it's a big old place, and it's okay. Eurovision, you get everyone come together, but that's once a year, not every week. And
the thing I think is happening with this is in the same way that Hollywood sort of does something very similar. I get the impression they're pitching for a government to say, I'll tell you what, let's invest in WWE. We'll build our new performance center in Zagreb. Government of Croatia goes, let's invest in this. It's going to put Croatia on the map as an entertainment thing, an entertainment capital. Wrestling in Europe is from Zagreb. That's because there's nothing else. I don't see it going to, well, for a start, I don't think it's going to be the same way as NXT UK in the sense of they're going to build something bespoke in Germany, because I don't think it's going to have anything to do with WXW, barring probably they're going to nick everybody. I don't see it in Berlin really. Hungary, if you was Triple H, you'd probably go, oh, I like everybody in Hungary, let's buy them. But I don't see it happening at all.
It's one of those things. Europe is too widespread and too diverse to do something like that. And when NXT UK started, you had a relative hotbed. And no disrespect to any of the scenes going on now, nowhere in Europe is what Britain was 5 years ago, not even close.
Yeah, Britain has a huge audience and a huge passion for wrestling. Germany does not. Germany has 3,000, 4,000 fans who would go to an indie show. It's probably got 50,000 fans who would go to a WWE show. Of those 50,000 people, how many of them are going to travel to, let's say, Nuremberg to go and watch NXT Europe taping? Not happening. And then you go to every other country. Holland, nothing. France, nothing really. Hungary, maybe if they did it in Budapest and signed everybody, maybe. But What is
France,
there?
Spain, Portugal. Yeah,
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Spain's dead seems to have
we've got
crawled up
White
a bit.
Wolf into a ride,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's still.
Yeah, it's like, where is it? Ireland? No. Actually, probably Ireland would probably be the only place I could think where it would possibly work. But even then, do you just buy Fight Factory?
And
Do you
someone
buy
else
Fight
crying
Factory and
into.
put Cabray in charge?
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. It ain't happening at all. And I'll be devastated if I have to eat my words, but I seriously don't see it happening at all.
Yeah, it just
Not
adding
this
up,
year, anyway.
adding for numbers that don't work. And a lot of people at the time said it was a carrot at the end of a stick for his NXT UK closing.
Yeah, the fact that WWE didn't even have a contact in Europe at that point.
Yeah,
and that was in March.
and the
Yeah,
other thing
says it
that's
all.
been pointed out on the network, there's been no European indies had anything uploaded since before Christmas. Now that might just be the guy's gone on holiday, but Progress
The
has
one
been
person who cares.
has been uploading stuff from their pivot chair. Also, again, that might be them jumping the gun, but certainly with stuff, I mean, WXW has also had a backlog, so there's stuff they could have put up.
You're knocking on 2-3 years of it being on there now, aren't you?
Yeah, started first from the pandemic, I believe.
Yeah, so summer 2020. So you're knocking on 3. You're on 3 years this year, and would you have signed ICW for more than 3 years? Would you?
Well, it depends when the deals were signed. But
would
yeah.
you signed it? And I'm under the belief that WXW's deal is better than everybody else's. I think that's the impression I've got.
Yeah.
So let's say they're on 4 years. This is pure speculation here, but
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, nothing's happening. Europe, they don't. If they can sell out Cardiff Stadium and they can sell out the O2 Arena for Money in the Bank or Cash in the Attic or whatever they're calling it. If they can sell out that, why do they need to have bloody poxy indie shows in Europe? What's the point?
Yep.
What are they getting out of it?
Well, it's interesting that they did all the big pay-per-views in the UK after NXT UK was shut, but that's for another podcast. But more speculation, I guess. Who do you expect to bubble up in 2023? Any obvious choice, or is there anyone completely out left field you reckon is going to come from nowhere to be a star or be suddenly a big part of the title picture and WXW main events, what have you?
Well, the three people I would love to be in the WXW from who have not been there: Ricky Knight Jr., Michael Oku, and Leon Slater. I think they could be. They're the three. They're the three people who just should be in WXW. They're ready made for it in my eyes. Leon Slater, especially, he's Will Ospreay in 2014, that sort of thing. If they don't try and even get him in once, then they're
I mean, we're getting other FPO guys in this month, so.
But from within the WXW thing, people, I could see. I could see Eva Kolaski actually having a half decent year. I think I've kind of been a bit down on her, but I feel that she could. She's slowly turning me around a bit. I don't really
settling into that role, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love it if Gulias had a good run in WXW.
Yep.
BT Ben Shetuth, the sort of the one of the other sort of young Hungarian guys. He did the Vienna show and that was it. He's somebody I'd really like to sort of come in. Yeah, I think it's. I think the person who will have the strong year will be. I think Simmons will have a good year if he does a lot of dates. If he doesn't do a lot of dates, because I kind of get the impression he's kind of happy doing one every couple of months sort of thing, really. Guns, I think he's just hitting it out of the park every time he goes out there. He just needs to keep doing that. He's managed to build himself into a bit of a niche as being the worker's worker that everybody seems to want to travel and work against him. So with that, he's basically gimmicked himself as the guy who watches a lot of tapes, and everybody loves that. So,
Totally wouldn't be surprised with by the end
yeah.
of next year, if Maggot has the unified title.
Well, yeah,
Free up the shotgun belt for somebody else. I mean, maybe that's not toward left field, but it doesn't seem to be that often where they move guys up the ladder from shotgun to world title lately.
Well, it's the shotgun title is the title that you get before, and and if you look at the people who've had it, the people who've had the really good reigns have tended to get the shotgun, the unified title not long after. So, we look at Guns, we look at obviously it didn't happen, but you kind of think that Star was probably on that trajectory. Obviously beyond other things. I think there's a lot of that sort of to come, and I think I think the champion. I think you'll get Dreisker as champion this year as well. I think he may have it by the summer.
That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me. Maybe like Coward win and then quick turnaround. Or again we'd have to see who's in the Coward field. Dreisker ain't in for the moment. See what comes out of Back to the Roots.
Yeah.
But so that's a quick look at 2022. I'll say quick's been an hour once we've edited this down. But quick run through what's coming up next. Obviously this weekend in Hamburg for Dead End, show's virtually sold out. You've got Lavaniel defending against Tristan Archer, Metahan against Bobby Guns for Spot and Carrot. Bobby Guns, look what now, 5 years since he last lost in Hamburg?
Well, Only Friends lost though, didn't they? But I suppose that don't count.
I think they're playing as a singles loss. I think I saw that. No, they kind of tooled that with the asterisk. And now I've got a cage matchup. He last lost to those Bad Bones September 2016. So you're talking 17, 18, 19, 20, over 5 years. So it would surprise me if Guns didn't win, but at the same time, it also feels a bit, why go that way?
Yeah, it would be a bit of a waste to drop it on Metaham, wouldn't it?
Guy I would say doesn't quite need that at this point in his career.
He doesn't need it. I don't think he necessarily does. The way he's been.
We've got a contract signed for an unsanctioned match between Jörn Sims and Heisenberg. Don't ask about the contract paperwork stuff.
Always good to sanction an unsanctioned match.
Good one, Norman. Axel Tischer against Lawrence Roman, and then some warm-ups for Back to the Roots. We've got a returning Dover against Peter Tahani, and the team of Ilya Bloom and Igel Blanc against Dreisker Nicholas, and just announced Maggot defending the shotgun belt against Itach Bahar, which first time he's been on for a while. Well, his Samoa Joe's a bit lighter in terms of hardware these days, so maybe he's looking for something new. Following weekend for an Aalborg with Body Slam sold out there. Bobby Guns against Emeritus, Ahura against Carlos Zamora. Maggot's got an open challenge for shotgun belt, of course, he gets past Itach. Baby Allison, Allison, Betty Rose in a freeway, and I'm going to butcher this. So
Randers Panya, I think.
Thank you. You've saved me from embarrassing myself. But defending Body Slam tag titles against the Hours of Hungary. So Icarus and Dover getting in, diving with both feet. January 28th in Oberhausen, Back to the Roots. We've got obviously the Kafik Schlacht, Amboss, Dreisker, Icarus and Dover against Paige Tahani, Sense of Alto and Igel Blanc. We have Alice Inc. defending the women's title against Amal and Axel Tischer versus whoever the world champion is. Yota Tsuji, Maria De La Rosa, and Greedy Souls also on the card. More matches, I guess, will be announced after this weekend. Next night, Gelsenkirchen's Fight Forever taping. Again, stuff will be announced.
A variation of what will be above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
February 11th, Bielefeld, there's a Road to 16 Carat Gold tournament. Of course, no matches, but you've got Anil Marek, Ilya Bloom, Heisenberg, Ahura, Bobby Guns, Rotten Flot, Nick Schreier, Baby Allison, Maggot, Jörn Simmons, Lavaniel, Robert Dreisker, Lawrence Roman, and the aforementioned Sebastian Suave on the poster. Yeah. How do they fit all those bloody faces on? Like that feels like the entire roster there.
It was like a Sgt. Pepper's album cover.
Who have we photoshopped in the wrong place here? Next day, we're back in Bielefeld for an Academy live show, so ain't making tape. March 4th, for debut in Bad Sackingen. This one again, not making tape.
On the Swiss border.
Yeah, and it's the Huber Arena.
Yeah.
I guess probably not big arena, be like
I'm not planning on going to this one. I'd like to, but
we've got Jørn Sims against Tristan Archer has been announced to that one, and you also got Calypso, Baby Allison, Margaret Blanc, Rick Salem, Robert Trice, and Lavaniel also announced. Then we come up to Carrot season, March 9th for the Circle 13 in Gelsenkirchen, March 10th, 11th, 12th, Oberhausen for 16 Carat Gold. We'll have a preview and the travel guide stuff on the backbodydrop.com next week or so. And then may as well go over the next step announced March 25th back in Frankfurt for 16 Carat Gold Revenge at the Batch Cup. Margaret Allison, Lavaniel, Tristan Archer, who are Baby Allison, Axel Tischer on the poster. And yeah, that's an awful lot of stuff to hopefully not have as a massive backlog when WXW Now 2 gets online. But who said the holidays were quiet, Mike?
yeah, they're always quiet. It just means I think we're going to have a couple of review episodes because we've kind of talked about everything else.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot to come. But so again, yeah, we'll get this stitched together, and I guess we'll be back when WXW Now comes up because as either that or we're just talking vagaries about what we've not seen, and I think plenty of people can do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you are really desperate and you can't wait until we review it, go to WXW.
Yeah,
you can go to Germany now.
Maybe not.
Or if you're in Germany, just go to Oberhausen. Easy peasy.
Yeah, Hamburg, I think they said, what was it? 95% sold out, I think they said earlier this week. So
yeah,
again, by the time this drops,
I think by this is up. If you're not on the plane already, you're probably not going. But
no. And of course, Aalborg, Denmark sold out. So January 28th, Oberhausen back to roots.
Yeah, just go. Be a good
Good
laugh.
old-fashioned cage match.
It's the best investment you could ever make in wrestling. So go for it.
So no, I guess that's it, Mike. I know you've done a few more football grounds lately. Anything to plug from your trips to Hertfordshire, I guess?
Just around Hertfordshire. Had a bit of a lull because of train strikes and all sorts of and horrible snow and things. So no new episodes, but there will be one probably start of February. So, but you can watch all of our old episodes, the Groundhoppers Guide on YouTube. Type in Groundhoppers Guide on and Eddie, and you can find it there.
Of course, follow me at Ian Wrestling on Twitter, at Big Back Body Drop on Twitter. Mike is at Mike Kilby everywhere. Reviews backbodydrop.com. And yeah, we'll be back, I guess, some point once the WXW Now 2.0 is up or whenever something massive breaks. Again, backbodydrop.com soon. We'll have carrot previews and travel guides for those heading over. And there was a few folks making a trip over for the first time or the first time post-COVID. So getting back to the way how it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a few people who have privately reached out to me to say, "Is it still good?" Yeah. So there's a few people. I won't reveal who those people are, but I've had a few people, and yes. So there's people. People are coming out of the woodwork again, which is great stuff. Get there, get into the Turbine Halo. It's the best if you've not been and you've even considered it in the past. Get there straight away and. It's the best money you can spend in wrestling, the best weekend anywhere in the world. I don't think there's anything that even comes close to it. So.
And it's cheaper than front row at a certain ladder match-based WWE event in London.
I'm not even gonna give that an answer.
No, I mean, he's Mike, and we shall see you in a few weeks, I guess. Cheers.
See you soon.